Tyson Fury gives a history lesson on the brutal ending cruiserweights experienced when they moved up to heavyweight. So Tyson Fury gave a press conference, and in that press conference, he spoke about the history of fighters who moved up from cruiserweight to give it a shot at heavyweight. And here's what he had to say.
Personal opinion is we have weight divisions for a reason, and me being an encyclopedia on boxing, and I've studied every heavyweight cruiserweight that's ever lived. When the cruiserweights step up to the big boys, usually they get found wanting. And even the greatest cruiserweights that's ever lived, Evander Holyfield, when he stepped up to the big boys in Big Daddy Bo and Lennox Lewis, he was found wanting. You can beat the average big ones, but you can't beat the elite big ones because size really matters. And we have weight divisions for a reason. And he's going to be found wanting when he fights me on May the 18th. Even if you look at David Haye, he was an explosive, good cruiserweight and good heavyweight. And when he fought average heavyweights, he could beat them. But when he stepped up to the big boy in Klitschko, it wasn't really a contest. We look at Thomas Adamek. He was a good light heavyweight, good cruiserweight. He beat some good average heavyweights, good world contender heavyweights, stepped up to the big boys, beat. So I expect the same from Alexander, to be fair. Who was the other one? Sultan Ibragimov. He was Olympic silver medalist. He was 20-0. He was world. I think he beat Shannon Briggs for the world championship, and he was found wanting against Vladimir Klitschko at Madison Square Garden. So I could just keep going on and on and on and on. Let's use Johnny Nelson for instance. Johnny was he was an undefeated cruiserweight when he was cruiserweight, but every time he stepped up heavyweight, he got bashed. So there is. It's facts. It's facts. I'm not slagging anybody off. But what I'm saying is, these are facts. And if anybody wants to go check my boxing history, go do it. I've studied this game all my life, and you cannot prove it wrong. This is my time, my destiny, my era, and my generation. Facts. But
so that's what Tyson Fury had to say. He said that a good cruiserweight can beat a great cruiserweight can beat an average heavyweight. Don't let that slip past you. A great cruiserweight can beat an average heavyweight. I'm going to jump into that statement a little bit later or in a later segment. But what he's saying is factually true. At some point, it doesn't end well for the cruiserweight. But that's not to say that the cruiserweight isn't great. Evander Holyfield, although he came up from cruiserweight, was a great heavyweight. And he does have some great wins, just like Alexander Usyk. And so you can't downplay it because they weren't able to beat everyone. For example, Holyfield wasn't able to beat Lennox Lewis, but that's fine. He got a bogus draw with Lennox, but that's another story. But he wasn't able to beat Lennox Lewis. That doesn't mean that he wasn't a good fighter. That doesn't mean he wasn't a great fighter. And he did rack up some great wins at heavyweight against great opponents. Like he beat Iron Mike Tyson. You're going to call Iron Mike Tyson average. So again, I don't want to take away from Holyfield and some of the other great fighters who moved up from cruiserweight. David Haye beat that giant 7-foot guy. He couldn't beat Klitschko, but that's a testament to how great Klitschko is. That's not to take away from David Haye. So now to talk about Usyk. The fact that Fury highlighted that history of how it didn't end well for cruiserweights, if Usyk was to come from cruiserweight all the way to heavyweight and become undisputed in the 4-belt era at heavyweight, the first one to do it since Lennox Lewis, then I think people are going to have to say, one, he's the greatest cruiserweight of all time, which people may already be saying, but not only that, he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. To me, we have categories of like who's the best right now, who's the best pound for pound. If Usyk beats Tyson Fury, to me, Usyk goes from pound for pound to all-time great, living legend, because what he would have done, he would have come from cruiserweight in less than, what do we have? We have, what was it? Witherspoon, Derek Chisora, Anthony Joshua twice. So Witherspoon, Derek Chisora, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, and then Tyson Fury. So what, in 6 fights? In 6 fights after leaving Cruiserweight, he would have become the undisputed heavyweight champion and beating the 2 best heavyweights in the division in Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. That's legendary stuff. So to me, what Tyson Fury pointed out, yeah, when he said look it up, no one can argue with it. But that also shows that it's a double-edged sword. So if Usyk beats Tyson Fury, that makes Usyk an all-time great. You know, we're not even going to talk about the Olympic gold medal run through his history, but if he beats Tyson Fury, that makes him an all-time GOAT. You know, I mean, you can argue he's the GOAT. Some people may argue he's the GOAT, and you can't even laugh at it if he beats Tyson Fury based on everything Fury said. But on the other side, if Tyson Fury does beat him, it is going to show a pattern where, you know, a good big man beats a good little man. And that's what I was always taught. Like a great little man can beat a good big man, but a great big man beats a great little man. That's what I was always taught. But that theory is gonna, you know, a big fish eats a little fish. But we're gonna see during that fight. That's what I've always seen too, as well. So just to throw it out there. But anyways, this fight is huge, and I can't wait to see the fight because it's going to show, does a great big man beat a great little man? And if Fury loses to Usyk and he set that table, does that mean he's not a great big man? Because he's the one applying that. He look at what he said. A cruiserweight can beat an average heavyweight. So if Usyk beats Tyson Fury, does that mean he's an average heavyweight? On the flip side, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. So that's all for Usyk's side. On Fury's side of the sword, I feel like it shows that he's up for the fight. And I think he believes in himself. And I think he's going in there with the intention of doing damage. And I think he genuinely believes he's going to win. You know, I hear people saying like, oh, I hope he doesn't pull out. I hope he's not afraid. I hope he doesn't run. When he's talking like this is in line with what he said about Deontay Wilder. This is in line with what he said about Vladimir Klitschko. This is in line with how Fury is before big fights. And like I said, I think Fury's in that mindset where he's trying to shock the world, and because he feels like people are doubting him. And I think that's when we get the best version of Fury. I think based on what he's saying right now, we're in store for a better version of Fury that we've seen. I think we're going to see, at least at the very minimum, we're going to see the best version of Fury we've seen since Fury Wilder 2. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. Catch me on the next video. I'm out. Peace.